I'd like to spend some time talking about capacity building. I know, Kirk, in particular, this is really, really important to you, and I know you're passionate about it. What does that exactly mean, and why is it important?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'll preface it with a very quick anecdote. We were at the national conference in Nevada a number of years ago, and one of my colleagues from another portion of the country stood up in front of a bunch of evaluators and said, teaching clients to do evaluation makes as much sense as a doctor teaching someone how to do surgery on themselves. But I don't think that's a very apt analogy. I'd instead suggest that it's more like a dentist teaching a patient how to care for his or her own teeth. You know, we do a lot at home that ultimately makes the dentist's job of guaranteeing our oral health an easier job. So the parallel there for evaluation is that we can help clients understand what they can do themselves and increase their internal capacity to collect data, to do initial data analysis so they've got feedback immediately when they're implementing something new that they can use to inform a project. We can help them to develop their own instruments that are informed by their local expertise. I mean, they really know the project or program that we're looking at way better than we ever will. And so by engaging them in that degree of cooperation, it frees us up to give them more bang for their evaluation buck, if you will. We can do the more advanced external analysis and maybe some things that they won't ever grow to have the capacity to do. But it's an extension, I think, of a philosophy that runs through the entire research and evaluation community at Edvantia.
I'd like to look at this even more specifically with some actual examples.
Sure.
I know that we've been involved with building capacity around evaluation with projects like the Safe Schools, Healthy Students, FLIC, MAC. Maybe we could talk about what some of those projects actually look like in terms of capacity building.
Okay. I can speak to the FLIC and MAC projects. The FLIC and MAC are acronyms for two of the comprehensive centers that we serve as an evaluator for. And what we've done with those projects is we really tried to help build evaluation and coming up with evaluation questions, process objectives, program objectives, and keeping all of that in line with management plans and making sure that people in our projects become consumers of evaluation, not just objects of evaluation, that people actually build their evaluation questions in from the beginning of their programmatic work. And I think we've been actually pretty successful with those two projects in helping to generate some excitement about evaluation, as much excitement as you can have about research and evaluation. But they become better consumers of evaluation and more participants in evaluation rather than objects of it. And I think that's the key there. And we've had some great success with those two projects.
I know that in conversations about evaluation, one of the things that comes up often is the idea of needs assessment. Kirk, what's that mean?
Sure. It's actually, we'll talk again more probably about purposes, but it's ultimately it's data that's collected up front in order to inform the design of a project or a solution or an implementation in an education setting in our case. We might gather data from stakeholders to understand what they know and are able to do going into a project, which can then allow the folks that are designing the implementation to tailor different expenditures of money to different needs among the stakeholder groups. If, for example, teachers don't have a particular understanding, it's important that we know that up front. Otherwise, we might spend time telling them things they already know and miss the mark, not provide them with something that they actually would benefit from.